Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Everyday English with Love. I'm your host, Emily, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Whether you're walking, working, or relaxing at home, thank you for choosing this podcast to improve your English and grow as a person. Today's episode is all about something we often forget, but it's actually the most important thing in life. Self-love. Yes, loving yourself. Taking care of your heart, your mind, your body, and your dreams. In this episode, you will learn what self-love really means. Hear simple examples from everyday life. Practice English listening with real, slow, and clear conversation, and reflect on ways to be kinder to yourself. So take a deep breath. And let's begin the session. So stay focused on conversation.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a topic that, well, it really affects everyone. Self-love.
It's everywhere, but maybe not always well understood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've been looking at a great conversation about this from Emily and Jack over at Everyday English with Heart.
Yeah, they had a really insightful chat.
So our plan today is to really unpack that. We want to figure out what self-love actually means, bust some common myths.
Look at why it can be kind of hard sometimes.
Right. And most importantly, pull out some practical ways you can actually, bring more of it into your life.
And Emily and Jack really stress right away that this isn't some niche topic. They say it's important for everyone, everywhere.
That universality really struck me too. It's not a luxury item.
No, it's fundamental, like basic maintenance for being human almost.
And I liked how they talked about it. Very conversational, sharing their own stuff. It makes it feel less, abstract.
Definitely more approachable, which is what we're aiming for here too, right? Giving you the key insights without making your head spin.
Think of it as the highlight reel of self-love wisdom drawn from their conversation.
They even start by suggesting grabbing a drink, settling in. It sets a nice sort of receptive mood.
Yeah, getting comfortable. Okay, so let's dig in. Jack asked Emily straight up, what is self-love?
And Emily's definition is pretty powerful, even though it sounds simple. She says it's accepting yourself as I am.
Even on the bad days.
Especially on the bad days, yeah. Recognizing your value isn't tied to performance, and treating yourself kindly, mind, emotions, body, the whole package.
It's that holistic thing.
Yeah.
What I found interesting was Jack admitting he used to think it was, selfish or being stuck up.
And that's such a common hurdle, isn't it? That misconception.
Totally. I think a lot of people feel that way initially.
But Emily clarifies it's not about ego. It's about basic care, respect for yourself, understanding you need rest, you need peace. It's fundamental.
It's not about thinking you're better than others.
Not at all. It's about acknowledging your own needs, which leads right into Jack's story.
Oh yeah, the burnout. That was powerful.
He talked about constantly putting everyone else first and just running himself into the ground.
Been there. Well, maybe not that extreme, but I get it.
And his big realization was that self-love, for him, meant actually listening to himself, resting, and crucially, learning to say no sometimes.
That's such a concrete example. It shows neglecting yourself doesn't actually help anyone in the long run. You just end up depleted.
You literally have less to give. It's not selfish. It's sustainable.
And then Emily just asks the listener, when did you last show yourself some love? Pow. Right to the heart of it.
Yeah, it makes you stop and think, doesn't it? Takes it from theory to, right now.
Okay, so let's talk about those myths they busted. The first one we kind of touched on, that self-love is selfish.
Right, and their counter is simple logic. You need to care for yourself to be able to care for others.
The empty cup analogy.
It's a classic, but it holds up. You can't pour from empty. Caring for yourself refills your ability to give.
Makes perfect sense. Then there's the myth that self-love is just feeling good all the time. Pampering yourself.
Yeah, it's all bubble baths and massages, and while those things can be part of it...
Sure, they can be nice.
They point out that real self-love often involves hard stuff. Difficult choices.
Like leaving a relationship that's not good for you.
Exactly. Or setting a boundary that feels really uncomfortable at first. Even saying no to extra work, like they mentioned, because you need to rest. That's self-love, even if it doesn't feel good in the moment.
It's about long-term well-being over short-term comfort sometimes.
Precisely. And the third myth, that it's only for rich people with lots of free time.
The luxury myth.
Right. And they shoot that down pretty effectively. They emphasize the simple things.
Like just drinking water.
Yeah. Or taking a 5-minute walk. or just catching yourself when you're being self-critical and trying to be a bit kinder in your thoughts.
So it's not about spa days necessarily. It's about small, consistent acts of care. Accessible stuff.
Absolutely. Intention over extravagance.
And again, Jack prompts the listener. What myths have you bought into? Keeping us engaged.
Keeps you thinking about your own assumptions. Very effective.
So if it's so important and not inherently selfish or luxurious, why is it so hard for so many of us? They explore that too.
They bring up childhood influences, which is huge. Those early messages we get.
Like feeling ashamed if you didn't meet expectations.
Exactly. Or being told not to be selfish, which gets misinterpreted. It can create these deep-seated beliefs that we're somehow not good enough as we are.
Like carrying invisible baggage you said earlier.
Yeah. And then you layer on modern media.
Oh boy. Instagram perfection. TV bodies.
Relentless, isn't it? These idealized images create completely unrealistic standards.
And lead straight into that comparison trap they mentioned.
Constantly measuring your behind the scenes against everyone else's highlight reel. It's a recipe for feeling inadequate.
It really is. But then Emily says something so simple, yet profound.
The "you don't have to be perfect to be lovable" line.
Yes. You don't have to earn love. You are lovable, just as you are. I felt like I needed to hear that.
Me too. Jack even asks her to repeat it. It cuts through all that external noise and points to inherent worth. That's the foundation.
Okay, so we understand the what and the why it's hard. How do we actually do it? What are the practical steps?
They start with something really fundamental. Self-talk. That inner voice.
The running commentary in our heads.
Exactly. And how often is it critical? I'm so stupid. I always mess this up. That stuff is corrosive.
It really chips away at you. So what's the alternative?
They suggest consciously replacing it. So instead of, I'm stupid, maybe, okay, I made a mistake, what can I learn? Or just, I'm learning. More compassionate framing.
Shifting from critic to maybe a supportive coach?
That's a great way to put it. Cultivating a kinder inner voice. Then there's the physical side.
Right. Taking care of the body.
Yeah.
Sleep, water, food, movement.
Basic stuff, but it's a direct way of showing yourself you matter. Connecting mind and body.
And the point about rest really landed for me. Sometimes self-love is just stopping.
Allowing yourself to do nothing without guilt. That's key. So many of us feel pressure to always be productive.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
It's a hard habit to break. And then boundaries. Super important.
Learning to say no.
To things that drain you or just don't feel right or aren't aligned with your values. It's a massive act of self-respect.
And Jack had that killer line. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself.
That sums it up perfectly. Your self-care sets the standard.
Wow. Okay, and they shared some listener stories too, which were great illustrations.
Yeah, really practical examples. Maria from Brazil.
The journaling. Writing down one thing she likes about herself each morning. Simple, but powerful.
Definitely. Building that positive focus over time. And Ali in Egypt.
Moving from automatically saying yes to actually checking in with yourself first.
Classic boundary setting in action. Pausing before committing. So important.
And Lena in India, curating her social media. That's so relevant today.
Totally. Unfollowing accounts that make you feel bad, following ones that inspire you, taking control of your digital environment.
It shows we have agency, even online.
We do. It's about conscious choices.
Okay, let's connect the dots between self-worth and self-love. They touched on this linkage.
Yeah. They define self-worth as the belief that deep down knowledge that you have inherent value.
Just because you exist.
Right. And self-love is how that belief shows up in your actions. How you treat yourself because you believe you matter.
So belief fuels action. Action reinforces belief.
Exactly. It's that positive feedback loop we talked about. Believing you're worthy makes you take better care of yourself.
And taking better care reinforces that feeling of worthiness. Cool.
And they stress starting small, remember? Just one kind thought today.
Makes it feel achievable, not like climbing Mount Everest overnight.
It's about planting those small seeds and recognizing it's a journey, not a destination. There will be good days and bad days.
Patience and persistence, sounds like.
It's an ongoing practice.
And finally, they talked about how all this impacts our relationships with other people, which feels really significant.
Hugely significant. Because when you genuinely value yourself, your tolerance for poor treatment just plummets.
You're less likely to put up with toxic stuff.
Way less likely. Your internal sense of worth becomes a kind of shield or maybe a filter. You recognize you deserve better.
And it changes that whole dynamic of feeling like you need to earn love.
Completely. You shift from needing external